So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the People to People podcast. We do what we do. We in the house. Oh man, it's like going on a trip. That's the way it is. But I just wanna say, you know, like always, it is a pleasure to be here, and you know, for us to do what we do. And I'm excited for what's going on today. So y'all just seeing me. I'm doing my magic tricks right now. Before I even go here, I'm going to just go here because I'm going to kind of get things started before I even go back to the board here. But I have a fantastic guest in the house, Mr. Ratcliff Thomas Jr. Welcome, bro. I'm so glad to see you again.
Give it up for my boy, Ratcliff.
How you doing? I'm happy to be here. Thanks for having me on. Always enjoy coming on and hanging out with you guys.
Man, you know, we love always having you in the house. And then, as I still move around and let y'all know, I got a phenomenal young lady, Miss Lisa Stewart, in the house with me, who's co-hosting with me. And this is really just an amazing trip we on today. So it's going to be real powerful. I'm excited about everything that's going on. And we're going to be doing some fantastic things. So what I would like for you to do is talk a little bit about yourself and what you're doing there, Mr. Ratcliff.
I guess everybody know I'm Ratcliff Thomas, a native of Alexandria, athletic background, T.C. Williams, University of Maryland, 5 years professional with Indianapolis Colts. After that, came home and started a nonprofit foundation, the Ratcliff Thomas Foundation, which we ran for several years, and since then, right after COVID, we developed a company called DMV Sports Group that we sort of converted over to working with youth. We still mentor through sports, but it's more centered around football and the recruiting and helping kids along that journey. So just always had a passion for giving back to the community, giving back to where I'm from. Just the guy trying to help out.
Man, that's really amazing. As long as I've known you, that's what you've done. You're a community activist. You're doing some real strong things in the community. You're a good leader. You set a good example. You're a good role model. So, you know, I take my hat off to you and appreciate what you're doing, because what you do affects me and it empowers me as well. So kudos to you. I've had the opportunity to work with you on a professional level, so I already know how you are. You like a shirt and tie. If you understand what I mean. You know, you're a quality dude, man, and much respect. Here you are, here in the DMV, man. It's a lot going on. Now, before we get into really what you do, what are some of your biggest struggles when you're trying to get people into the community to see your journey?
I guess when I was doing the nonprofit foundation, you have to understand everybody's in a different place in their journey. They're not going to be where you are. Just because you're passionate about something, you want to do something, you want to give back, doesn't mean that everybody's at that point. So I think my biggest struggle was at times getting people to understand what the mission was, what the agenda was, what were we actually trying to accomplish. These days with this social media, it seems like there's a lot of show here, show there, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. But is it, you know, do you have the right stuff behind it? So I would say that, you know, don't give a man $1 to show that, oh, I gave him, posted on social media. Give it to him because he needed it. Yeah. Give it to him because you care.
Yeah, so that's powerful. That's powerful. And as y'all see that beautiful lady sitting next to him, that's Miss Lisa. Miss Lisa, the co-host of the People to People podcast. I am so excited to have you in here with me as well.
Thank you, Rodney.
I hate to use you as the trial person, Mr. Ratcliff.
But I appreciate it.
But knowing how professional you are and and just the things that you bring to the table, I knew that her being in this platform would be a good setting for us. So thank you for your presence as well.
Thank you for the opportunity, Rodney. I appreciate it. And it's been a pleasure meeting Mr. Ratcliff so far.
Absolutely.
He's educated me in a lot of areas that I may not have known had I not been here today. So I want to thank you for your honesty, your, being authentic, and for your passion and your drive, because I can see why you do the things that you do.
Yeah.
So
that's something. I mean, and I'm glad you said that, because that's something about what we need right now. We need people who are really passionate about what they're doing. That's not about look at what I'm doing. It's about me. No, it's about what you're giving back. We were just talking off the air about some of the things that you've been dealing with, some of the things that you have to deal with being in this position that you are. And so it's not so easy just for you, when you're taking on that leadership position. I'd like you to talk about that, because a lot of people don't understand when you do this is not something that you just wake up and say, I'm going to do this because I don't have nothing else to do, because it takes on a lot of responsibility.
Yeah, it really does. I think that you're put in a position a lot of times to be the bigger person, to be the bigger man. When you're doing things for the right reason, sometimes people take advantage of that. And but you can't react. You can't go after people. You got to just stay on your path. Make sure your agenda is met. Sometimes you have to work with people that might not be great people, you might not even care for, but the goal is our community, our kids, and that's what we do it for.
Yeah.
So and you might be that glue that brings that person back to the right side.
Yeah.
And so I try to give everybody grace. I'm not perfect by no means, but I try to, like you said, I try to lead by example.
Yeah.
And do the things that I do for the right reasons.
Yeah. So that's something that you said earlier too. We got certain people, and I'm sure Lisa, you can agree with this. People have a tendency to take things personal when we out in the public. Leave the personal stuff at home. When you come out, you was talking about, and this is when I say this, a lot of times I don't want people to think I point fingers, because a lot of things I talk about with Rodney Grimes. I say to myself, put all the personal stuff aside. If we're on the same train, we want the train to reach its goal. We don't worry about some of the stops that it make, because if we look forward, we know where we're trying to go. And if in your heart is pure with your agenda, then moving forward, it's irrelevant if that person hurt your feelings or not, because that's something personal that you can set aside. You can talk and work that out later. We got a lot of young people that we got to look after, and some elderly ones as well, because we can't forget about the ones who set the path for us moving forward, right? So I see a lot of chatter going on social media. What's going on with your spring event? Let's talk about that.
It's springtime, and that's when we do most of our events. So we do, and we say we're talking about DMV Sports Group. Mm-hmm. That's the name of our company that I run all my activities through. First off, we've partnered with the St. James, the beautiful facility in Springfield. I think St. James may be the best facility in the country. I was fortunate to be able to partner with them, and we're running an off-season conditioning program where we have right now, while school is in, kids come in a couple of times a week and they work out to get ready for the season, but that program will ramp up once the summertime hits, and we'll be in there more. So that's one thing we're doing. And everything that we talk about, we have it on social media, we have it on the website. People can find the information anywhere. Our next thing, we also partner with St. James. We're doing the DMV Gridiron Classic. It's going to be probably the biggest all-star game here in the DMV.
Man.
It's going to be kids from 7 years old all the way up to 13 and all the way in between.
Wow.
We're going to have games at every grade level. So what we did was we split the DMV down the middle. Virginia is the South team, and DC and Maryland is the North team. And so we picked some of the best youth league coaches in the area, and they know each other. They're competitive. The kids know each other. They're competitive. So we thought this would be a good opportunity that we bring them all together at one of the best facilities in the country, and give the kids that experience and have an all-star game right here in our backyard. Because most of the time when kids play games, all-star games, playoffs, we have to go all the way to Florida to spend a lot of money. So now we're here, right now in the backyard, we're not spending that much money, having great games. The third thing that we do, this is our second annual, is the DMV Elite Middle School Showcase. It's a pretty much an early recruiting showcase. We have the rising 6th, 7th, 8th, and 9th graders. They come out and we put them in a real NFL combine environment. I mean, we do NFL drills, drill for drill. We bring in ex-NFL players. This year, we're going to include colleges, like Division I colleges are going to talk to kids. Like Lisa was saying, her son is at McNamara. So I'm sure him and his crew will be down there, because recruiting is what it is in youth sports. And even colleges are recruiting kids even earlier. We had last year an 8th grader. He's a freshman now. He had a pretty good half of the season. So as of right now, he has about 15 scholarship offers. Mm-hmm. The latest from the University of Georgia and the University of Penn State University, Maryland, everybody. So we just try to provide a platform for these young men can showcase their abilities, and the whole goal is for these young men and their families don't have to pay for college. So that's what it's really about. Giving kids the opportunity to get an education through the athletic ability. Mm-hmm. Now, what does that look like? It's a journey. It's a process. Everyone's process is different. So anytime that we can help, give advice, advise, when you've been somewhere and done something, you could always give your point of view, and you might see stuff they can't see, or have information that they don't have, things like that. So we try to help out that standpoint.
So you're helping the kids avoid some pitfalls that no one was there to help you along the way.
Absolutely, absolutely. So we believe in mentorship. So Rodney knows my background is RTF, the Ratcliff Thomas Foundation, and we was completely a mentoring program, and that's what we did. So even though we've transitioned over to football, we still mentor for sports.
Your foundation is still mentoring.
We still do it, and like we were talking about earlier in the show, and I was talking about one of my partners. Her name is Tony McFarland. Mm-hmm. Her son is Anthony McFarland, that plays for the Pittsburgh Steelers now. I coached my son 13U football team this year. So Miss Tony came in every other week and did a social, emotional piece for these young men. Mm. So what she said was, she watched her son at Pop Warner, high school, college, even now in the NFL. And she saw the things that could have made this process easier as he was going through, and packaged this up into a program. And now we come back and give us scenarios, different the things they do to help these kids understand at an earlier rate. Because that's what we all wish as adults. If I knew earlier. So we try to
make a wiser decision later.
Absolutely.
That is absolutely wonderful.
Yep.
And with you speaking about recruiting, and that's high in the DMV. So I believe that your program is like twofold. You're also helping the kids, but it's a place where a recruiter can come and basically get its job done in a day with all the talent that you're going to have out there, Rodney. You know what I'm saying? So with that being said, if my child happens to be in my local high school and I'm making a decision that I got this offer for them to go to private school, what are the benefits or the pros and cons that you would recommend, as a parent?
So, and I can speak from experience on that one. I grew up in Alexandria, and I was slated to go to T.C. Williams. So as an 8th, 9th grader, I started excelling in sports. So here comes St. Stephen's, DeMatha, Gonzaga, all those different schools. At the time, for myself, I didn't know any better. I didn't really understand private school. I just knew My friends were at TC Williams. I wanted to go to TC Williams, and luckily it worked out for me. But to answer your question, there are pros and cons to it, and there's no one right answer, but because it depends on the individual child, right? So if my goal is to play college football, and that private school puts me in position, I can closer to reach my goal, it's that private school. If I have an awesome public school that can do the same thing, it's public school. But it just depends on the child. For example, my son, we're facing that decision right now. He's an 8th grader. He either get to go to public school or go to private school. He actually did his shadow day at St. John Paul the Great, the private school. And, through his educational process, he performed better in a private school setting. So is it about football? It's about football, but it's about him and him going to college. So this particular private school, St. John Paul the Great, 98% of their kids go to 4-year university. 98% of the kids. So I know for myself and my situation, put my child in that situation, it's the best for him. Whether football works out or not,
he'll have that education.
He'll have the opportunity.
Putting him in a position to win.
So I know public school coaches, I know private school coaches, and I know kids that go to public school and done great. I know kids go to private school and done great. So the answer to that question is, it depends on your child and your situation, and where would your child thrive better in what situation.
And it's got to be a great support system, because no matter what school you go to, if your child is not going to be supported by the family, being able to show up at the games, being able to get them to and from practices and all of those things, that could play a...
Absolutely, and a lot of times it's means as well, because sometimes you go to these private schools, you got to pay. You know what I mean? So some people can't afford it or don't have the transportation. I know some schools have a transportation piece that have buses and things like that. So it's just, like I said, it depends on the particular situation for a child, and what we do, we evaluate each case base by base. Because I will tell the child, hey, you need to stay where you are, or hey, you probably should start looking at other schools. So like I said, I coached a 13 under football team this year. So I got a lot of kids on my team making that decision whether they're going to go to public school or private school. But like you say, it depends on your support system at home with the parents, and are they able to make that happen for the child.
But I compliment you, because knowing that there's 52 kids on this team, and you're aware to be able to help to give them information to make that decision, that says a lot about your passion for what you do.
Absolutely, it's. I mean, I always tell people this when it comes to the sport of football. Football has allowed me to live a wonderful life, a comfortable life, right? So, and I just feel absolutely blessed. If I didn't give back, if I just took my ball and went home and didn't do, and right off to the sunset, I would be crazy. I would be absolutely crazy. I think the best tale of a person is what you can do for somebody else, and I've learned that along my way. And as Rodney know, I've probably learned from that person that was closest to me. And Rodney noticed my dad.
Yeah.
He noticed my dad.
I want to jump in and I want to say something though. Let me say this. See, a lot of people don't understand. It's not easy to go where you went to. It's not everybody makes it into the NFL. So for you to have to accomplish that, and then to come back and be humble to come back and share that with other people, man, says a lot about you. I say that because we got to get other parents and other individuals to think like that, so that they understand as we move into the future, you find success. Don't be selfish with it and keep it with you know, within. Here, you coming home, like you said, you for real, you can sit back and relax. You already done lived a life at a certain age and seen and met people that if you wanted to use those accolades to get you to move around, you could. I know. I have an NFL individual in my family. I already know what kind of prestige come with that. You never lose it. What you're doing, I take my hat off to you. And one of the things that I wanted to just ask you about is this. How much, when you're seeing a kid with the talent and everything, how hard is it for you to get the parent to understand how to navigate?
Well, here's the thing. I always, like, with my parents that I work with, and I work with parents from Baltimore all the way to North Carolina, right? When I work with parents, I try to be honest and transparent with them. A lot of times you have coaches, and I'm not pointing my finger at anybody, you have coaches, they have their agendas, and they're going to tell you what you want to hear to keep you playing for them.
Right, right.
But me, I'm going to tell you what you need to hear.
Right.
But because that's going to help you at the end of the day. If an athlete needs a particular part of his game worked on, I'm going to tell him. Right?
Right.
Some coaches don't do that. I want this child to stay on my team, so I'm not going to say anything, or I'm not going to work on that.
Yeah.
You know. And with that being said, so what I get is either parents run towards me, or they run away from me.
No gray area.
Right.
And it's okay, because if you run away from me now, I'm not going anywhere, and you probably come back.
Yeah.
Every single year, for the last 10 to 15 years, I get juniors and seniors calling me saying, "Hey, Mr. Ratcliff, I need help in the recruiting process." I'm like, "Wow, where have you been? You know, all these years." You know what I mean?
Instant gratification is
so here's the thing, when I'm talking to coaches out there right now, there's no one perfect way. There's no one right way. I don't think my way is better than anybody else's. Just because a child goes to your school playing football for you doesn't mean I can't help them. Just because I know a child, whatever, I'm not gonna overtalk the coach. But different irons in the fire, the more the merrier. You know what I mean? The more the merrier. So I say, I'm trying to work with schools. I'm trying to work with individuals. We all should be working together with the same goal. The goal is for our children, our young athletes, to benefit. So I just want to see the men, you know, the men, because women, you're a part of it. They're your babies, but men are the coaches. Men are in position. I want to see the men working together and doing what's best for the child, doing what's best for the athlete. You know what I mean? Everybody wants to be successful. Everybody wants to win. I get it. But at the end of the day, all our agendas as men in our community has to be the same. And that's to see our kids go forth, get college paid for, and so we don't have to spend our 401ks on college. You know what I mean? So
don't we win greater when we're all together? Because winning a game is a small battle. We want to win the war. So winning the war is when we all get together and we're all on one accord. So it sounds to me like, Mr. Ratcliff, maybe you need to add a session to your program where you come in and talk to coaches.
That's the
bring them together, break down those barriers.
so that's the thing. You know, I try to always share a word with anybody I'm talking to. You know, and the coaches, I just, we had a post on Facebook the other day, and I stepped in and I just was like talking about the two coaches, and I was like, "Hey, the community's watching. I know you're both super competitive. You both are great coaches, but the community's watching. The kids are gonna mimic us."
Exactly.
Right? So if we could go to war, we could battle on the field, then we could shake hands and work together afterwards. That's what it should be.
Win-win.
It's a win-win. And, so I guess while we on that topic, I want to see, and I understand the hip-hop culture that we live in, and I get it. And listen, I used to love NWA, Ice Cube. My mother used to say, cut that cussing music off all the time. But I want our young men, our boys, to play hard, be competitive, but have class.
Yes. Say it again, why don't you?
And I have that struggle with my own son.
Mm-hmm.
Want to be cool and want to do this and want that. But I remember telling them, when we take pictures, ain't nobody throwing up no signs of nothing.
Yeah.
Nobody doing that. Why? Why am I saying that? Because we gotta get them to learn how to act now. Because when they go into the corporate world, when they go to apply for college, when they go on in life, being cool and all that
ain't gonna get you nothing.
ain't gonna get you nothing. And and it starts with us. It starts with the men. Like I said, if the kids are doing it, it's fine, but don't condone it.
Right.
Don't be like, oh, throw them up as I take this picture.
Right.
Let's put it on Facebook to be cool.
And,
right?
it doesn't represent anything. A lot of people have a tendency to, and I've seen a lot of adults do it, but it's something that's been riding on my mind. I wanted to ask you too. How do you deal with the parents who like to coach from the sideline?
Well, I tell you what, Rodney, I'm a little different.
So you're unorthodox.
I'm different. I'm different in the sense that when I meet my parents, I'm honest and I'm transparent, and I'm an alpha male at the same time. You've never heard me raise my voice at anybody, but you know I'm serious. I don't have those issues. I don't have parents, but I've seen it, and I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
But I don't have it, because I could say even in Alexandria, they talk about coaching in Alexandria at T.C. Williams like it's hard to do, especially if you're not from there.
Right.
And even to the last coach that they had a big situation. He ended up having to leave the team, and there was some parents in the stands, whatever. But when I was coaching at TC, I don't have them problems.
Right.
And there again,
I'm not a thug. I'm not a gangster. But
you're serious about what you do.
Absolutely. I'm gonna give respect. I want respect.
Right.
If I'm on the kid, I'm at the kid. It's out of love.
Right.
It's to make them better.
And that's
and I think the parents understand that.
Yep.
You know what I mean? But like I said, it's a dish served cold. Either you like it or you don't.
Yeah.
And I get it, and I have, I recognize when parents don't.
Yeah.
Like a lot of times when I'm trying to correct the child, correct a drill, correct something, they might think I'm talking about that child. My coaches don't talk about you. They talk about the football player. I love the child to death, love the kid to death, but he got bad feet right now.
Yeah.
But I'm here to get him better.
Right.
But if he don't stick to it, and every time he messes up in the drill, he look over to mama, and mama like, it's okay. No, it's not okay.
Right.
It's not. Let's focus here. Let's get these feet right.
Right.
Know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, it's a lot of different things that you could talk about that go with coaching and go with sports and stuff like that. So I just try to do the best I can and try to, help out as much as I can and point, especially our athletes, in the right direction. And I'd have a lot of conversation with parents.
Right.
A lot of conversation. I would think there'd be parents calling in right now, asking questions.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Matter of fact, why don't we, I'm going to just put that number out. The number here is 703-752-6120. Anyone out there that would like to call in and ask the magnificent gentleman, Mr. Ratcliff, some questions about coaching, about the sport, football, some of his projects that's going on, the lines are open. I want to go back and also just share an experience that I had. My granddaughter was at a dance. She was doing this dancing thing, and one of the dancing coaches really didn't know she was my granddaughter. My granddaughter has a personality where she don't talk to everybody, so she's kind of a back off kid. Well, the lady who was instructing the team told my granddaughter, why don't you move up? And my granddaughter has this thing that she's been like that ever since she's a little girl. And my granddaughter didn't respond. And I was looking at the girl's mouth. I read lips, and she called her snotty bee.
Oh, wow.
Right? But she didn't say it out loud. She just mumbled it. And it did something to me. I literally wanted to take my granddaughter out of there, because what I understood is that this woman is not coaching from the passion. You know, she for her to even say that, it didn't make me feel comfortable. I ended up going to my daughter and telling my daughter what the girl said. And I'm a straightforward person, especially when it comes to my family. Don't mess with my family. I literally wanted to walk up and tell her, say, Shawty, I just heard what you said about my grandbaby. Let me tell you something, you know.
Then we would have saw you on social media, Rodney. So we don't want that, okay?
I mean,
we encouraging and uplifting up in here.
I wouldn't have really act out of, you know, big disrespect, but I would have just let her know that I didn't appreciate it. And if you want to be in a position where you're going to be handling children and kids, you need to know how to conduct yourself at all times. But speaking and listening to you, I think that's one of the things. Not everybody can coach. Not everybody can be out there. You got different levels. Like here, that woman didn't know who I was. You spoke about that earlier. You don't know who is who. You don't know if you're going to end up working for this person, or if that person will be the person will come in and donate, you know, $500,000 to your program. Not everybody. I know a gentleman who owns parking lots in Washington, D.C. A lot of them, right? He never wears a suit. Every time you see him, he's in jeans and some old tennis shoes. And he is very, very wealthy. But see, people sometimes judging a book by the cover and not knowing the story.
Yes.
But at the same time, when we get into these situations with individuals who, like yourself, and people who are in the public, they have to understand, yo, this has got to be something that you're really, really passionate about. I want you to, I heard you mention something about April 16th.
So April 16th, that's our the big thing going on right now. It's called the Gridiron Classic. That's the one. It's going to be over 500 athletes, because you got to think it's going to be 7U, 8U, 9U, 10U, all the way to 13U. Each team is going to have about 40 kids. So it's going to be one day. April 16th is going to be one day, games all day. They're going to be live streamed. They're going to be entertainment. They're going to, because St. James is going to host the whole thing, and we're going to have the platform, is the stage will be set. We're going to let the kids go out, have fun, play football, and have a good time. Let the parents come in and enjoy themselves, enjoy the beautiful facility. We're still getting it together now. So the trials are in March. I think you still can try. You still can sign up for the trials. And like I was saying, that the trial flyer, the information is out on my social media. So if you have a kid that's 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, and that plays football, there's no reason that he shouldn't be part of this game. The St. James been wanting to kick off their football program for a while. So luckily I had the opportunity to partner with them, so I'm helping them in that facet. And so it's just a great platform for these kids to go out and play at this level. Oh my God,
that's gonna be
it's
amazing.
I mean, I've traveled the world, literally traveled the world. Of course, in the NFL, all of the United States, but I played NFL Europe for a year. So I lived in Amsterdam, played in Germany, England, Barcelona, Germany, everywhere, right? I've never seen a sporting facility like the St. James.
Wow.
Right? A great sporting facility like the St. James has built a 50,000 square foot facility in Maryland. I think Bethesda. Think about that. 50,000 square foot.
That's huge.
That's huge, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Guess what? The one in Springfield is 450,000 square foot.
Wow. It's giving
Exactly.
Dallas Cowboys a run for their money.
Exactly. So, but people say, "Oh yeah, I've seen it on the website." I'm like, no, you need to go. It's like Vegas. You need to you need to visit it one time.
Right.
And so when these people wanted to partner with me, listen, I was excited, man. I felt like I was in the NFL again.
But that says something about your character and what they've heard about you in the streets. You understand what I'm saying? Because they're not walking up to everybody giving them exposure to a baby like that. I'm just saying that's not an everyday thing. So that speaks volumes. And like you had said when you said about the issue about you don't have an issue with your parents, and as a mother that kids played football, my coaches didn't have issues. I didn't have issues with the coaches who I respected, who cared about my kids. And I knew that they were giving them information that was good for them to make them better. Absolutely. And so as long as I could check those boxes, you had free reign, because I know that you want the same thing I want for my child, to be successful, and you're going to set them up to win. Yes. And it can't all come from me. It takes a village. It takes the community in order for our kids to be successful. So I commend you again.
And that's really what's important. A lot of people would probably look at the facts and thinking about some of the things that you have done. But for you, that's important what you are giving to the community, to have that opportunity and to say, hey, I'm going to show you that you can move to a different level. I heard you talk about, it's not just about the sport though. It's about the character. You building character. You giving them, you saying, hey, come on, I'm up here doing this.
Man, it's nothing wrong with getting excited. You know what I mean? Especially as a young man. And you know, like the rap culture that we have now, and the different lyrics and things like that, you know, it has kids, you know, thinking a certain way. So us as adults, we have to rein that back in.
Yeah.
We have to, because if we let the videos or the music or social media raise our kids, all this senseless stuff that we got going on will continue.
So, and let me say this too. A lot of people don't understand this, and because I've traveled halfway around the world as well, being in the Marine Corps, I had the opportunity to go to different countries and so forth and so on, and just in the United States traveling too. One of the things that you got to watch out is this: if you don't know what kind of sign you putting up, it could cause you to get in some trouble. Mm-hmm. So you putting these signs up, what you saw on television, or you seen another person do somewhere, and you don't know what it means or what it represents, you actually could be setting yourself up to get the wrong type of attention.
Yeah.
So I say kudos for you to bring that to the forefront. That's almost like where I feel like gentlemen like you and I and a few other gentlemen that I know for sure, I know one thing I can tell you for sure that I'm not going to see Ratcliff doing.
So that's sagging his page.
I ain't mad at you.
I know it's going to say that.
Because they don't know what that means.
But it's irrelevant. But you understand, bro? Because see, what it is a certain part of who you are. What did you say? You don't have to say much. You don't have to go out there and boast or come with a loud voice. It's the way you carry yourself. I'm not going to walk around like that. And it's imperative that we set that tone and let them see. I'm probably a little older than both of y'all. I know back when I was coming up, one of the things in the street that back in the late '60s or early '70s, man, it was something to come out and be sharp and have on some wingtips and a double-breasted suit with a tie, you know.
So I fight that battle at home with my own child. I got a 14-year-old son, so you know. When he leaves the house, he got his pants pulled up. But I know, Susie, get out the car, walk to that school, he put him down a little bit. Be cool, and I get it. So he had a shadow day at the private school yesterday, right? So I'm like, hey, get your clothes together. You know, you gotta wear your Sunday's best. So he come in, shows me like some jeans and a wrinkled shirt. I'm like, no, you putting on the suit. You putting on the suit. He's like, oh, he giving me, But guess what? When you put that suit on, you start looking in the mirror and he start fixing his collar.
Oh my
and he walked into that school and he was like, hey, Trey. The first thing they said, Trey, you're sharp today. I see this whole expression change. This whole expression change. Like, so that pride of your appearance, of how you carry yourself, it speaks before you do.
Yeah.
It speaks before you do. Like, we are judgmental people. We are. That's just what it is.
Human nature.
So if a person walks up sharp, they don't say a word. They could be ignorant, but he's sharp.
Yes.
Right. And that's probably half the battle. because you got whoever you're talking to on the other side on your side.
Yes.
So whatever your agenda is, probably get accomplished. But vice versa, if you walk up and your hair nappy and your pants sagging, right?
What's that saying?
Exactly. So
Only
now
get one chance to make a first impression.
one chance to make the first impression.
Yeah.
And that we got a caller.
Hello, caller. State your name and where you're calling from. Welcome to People to People. Hello.
The name is Raymond Boyd. Calling from Annapolis, Maryland.
How you doing, sir? How you doing?
I'm doing well, thank you. I'm doing well. I'd like to. I'm doing well. I'd like to applaud Mr. Radcliffe for what he's doing. I have a question.
You might want to turn your, if you're watching the program, turn your volume down, and so you just go ahead and speak to us.
Okay, let's try that.
Yeah, because I can hear you on the back.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, so Mr. Radcliffe, for your players that don't make it in football, what kind of advice do you give them to keep them motivated to continue to go on? For those that don't excel or get to that level that they're trying to get to.
So the question was, if a young man is trying to, play football and he doesn't quite make it, was that what you're asking? What advice would I give him?
If he does it, yeah. How do you continue to encourage that particular person?
That's a good one.
So like I talked about before, I had a mentoring program, and when young men come into my program, they don't leave. I coached probably the early 2000s back at T.C. Williams, and the kids that graduated while I was coaching, they're 30-something-year-old men with families. 2 of those young men were on my coaching staff this year.
So back.
I stick with them. So it's not only about on the field, it's also off the field.
Yes.
Right, so now the conversation goes from football goes to a career. It goes to what's my major. It goes to this girl's pregnant. What should I do? It could be anything. However we can encourage them, however we can help them. It's not just football. But I think I might hear you asking. I hear you asking the question of that me and Lisa was talking about earlier. If they're playing football and they're succeeding and they're successful, and then what happens when that career is over? Because that's something that many people, not many people have ever experienced, but you watch it publicly. You watch a child in grassroots, you watch a child in high school, you watch a child in college, you watch a child in the NFL, but NFL stands for not for long. So after that 2, 3, 4, 5 year career, what now? But you see me going up. After that career is over, it's straight down.
Yeah.
So what do? Right? So that's why all those other pieces we talk about. So you take advantage of that football journey and all the things that it taught you throughout that journey, the discipline, the hard work, the structure. You take all those things and it will make you successful after the game as well.
I definitely applaud you for what you're doing. I really do applaud you.
And we thank you so much, sir, and thank you for calling in. And remember to stay tuned in to People to People.
Thanks for calling, Ray.
Thank you for taking my call.
All right. Oops, I did something wrong there. This is amazing. This is what I'm talking about where we're moving into the future. Kudos to you. Kudos to all the other individuals out there that are getting in the community and putting their best foot forward. This is our responsibility.
It's man, listen, it's and I want to say thank you to the coaches and the mentors and all the people out there, because a lot of times they don't get the credit. I know men that coach 6, 7, 8-year-old boys year after year after year. right? And I don't even know if they understand what they're doing, but they're doing God's work. It's not just teaching these kids football.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You're teaching them to better themselves. You're teaching them to use this vessel of football or basketball, whatever the sport may be, right? That's an outlet. That's an outlet for your energy, an outlet for what God gave you, athletic ability. But that's not who you are. I played football. I'm Ratcliff. I played football, but that's not who I am. So my legacy will be when I leave this earth, like, I know Ratcliff, he played football, but he was a good dude.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, but thank you to all the coaches that are out there. Thank you to the coaches that work with my program. We have over with the Gridiron Classic. That's the April 16th. We got 5-6 coaches on each team. We got 14 teams.
So you're giving coaches opportunities to be on platforms
Absolutely,
that they may not.
and they're coming in and they're working with these kids, and I'm thankful that we have so many great men in the community. And these guys, they know the game. They're sharp coaches. Like when we pick these coaches, we just didn't pick anybody. We picked the best coaches in the DMV. So when the kids come for the trials, they get on the team, they have a great experience. We got another call.
I think you're right.
Hello, caller. State your name and where you're calling from, and thank you for calling the People to People podcast.
This is Queen Rachel calling from District Heights, Maryland.
Hello, Queen. How you doing?
I'm blessed, and hello to all the queens and kings on the show.
Welcome.
I have a question for the king over there. I'm very proud of you having this event for the kids that's in the community. I have a question. Do you guys have anything in place pertaining to if they get injured, and what will you offer to help the families and things like that to, get through that situation?
Oh, so can you repeat that? So basically, you're saying,
Like the young man who got injured in football, the injuries, will you guys have prepared for backup to assist the family and the patient?
So, but she talked about in general. Do y'all have a certain process? Say if a kid did get hurt on the team and he can't play anymore, do y'all still follow
Absolutely.
up?
So if somebody gets hurt on the team, even if they was injured and even couldn't play the team, they always can be part of the team.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like
Right.
that we'll have a role for them.
Okay.
So we've had kids that got hurt. Right. They help out with the coaching staff. They help out with the game plan. You know what I mean? But they stay around the team, and they still part of the team. I remember growing up, we had guys that was always a part of the team, but never played football. But like through our high school career, they're known more than any football player.
Right.
So the game affects people in a different ways. It's not just about the star athlete or not just about the coach. It's the team, the fans, the cheerleaders, the school.
Yeah.
It's the community.
Yeah.
So whatever part. So you don't have to actually be the guy playing the game to be a part of the game. Because if you look on TV, most of these commentators, most of them haven't even played football.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, but it's a huge part of their life. So I'm just thankful that I had the opportunity to play the game. I love the game, and the game is a vessel for helping boys to become men, things like that. So, but you can reach out to me through social media, and if you have a young man now that needs some mentorship or that's looking for some activities, give me a call. We can talk about it. Maybe we can figure something out.
Okay. I just curious.
Okay.
I appreciate you guys.
Thank you for calling.
All right. Peace and blessings.
Peace and blessing, Queen Rachel. Yeah. So again, this is just amazing. Here we are with this podcast. Every time that I have individuals on the platform with me like yourself, I realize we have a lot of work to do. It's a journey, but I don't feel like I'm in the struggle by myself. So, man, kudos to you. Much respect. What I'm asking is for us to come together collectively to start really supporting each other. I need you, whatever you're doing, to first of all go to my page and put it on there. I don't want nonsense on my page, but stuff what you're doing, I want on my page. Number two, I need you to call me so that I know to stay in my position, because I'm coming to the public, that I can talk about the things that you're doing. You've been doing this since I met you. So when your name ever come up with me or around me, I already know you're up to something and you're doing something in the community. So you know what I'm saying? I just want to stay in the we want
to be in the know to know.
because I know that's who you are. So, but we got to keep doing this. We got a lot of things that's coming up. Ratcliff, I can tell you that you'll be one of the guys that I definitely be calling for to represent us as men, to talk about the things and how we carry ourselves and how we represent, how we treat our queens, how we walk and talk and do these things. And I just say thank you. I know you hear this all the time, but it's never too many, it's never not enough thank yous when somebody is out there doing what you're doing. So, man, I just can only imagine, looking what your father put into you and what you put into your son. That's building legacy. That's building character. I can only imagine when you and your son walking together sometimes how you feel when he look at his dad and know that his dad is in the community doing what you're doing, bro. You're doing your thing. So I just want to tell you thank you. I'm hoping that some of these young people out there, Ratcliff is available for mentoring. Y'all want to talk to this gentleman, go to his page. You want to having problems get to him, call me. I can get him. I'm going to have it so that you'll be able to talk to him. We want to set up some programs. We got some stuff coming up that I want to talk to him about anyway, to make sure that he's going to be able to come in and do some, be one of the guest speakers to talk about some things. We got things that we got in the plan. But again, it's not about me. It's not about you. It's all about us. So that's powerful.
Yeah.
We getting down. How much time we got, Lady Z?
We have 5 minutes. But Ratcliff, I just want to say I have truly enjoyed you. And I feel like I need to be out there on April 16th. You know what I'm saying? I think I need to come in and say, I know a little something now. See all the talent that you got out there. Like I said, this is your program is a recruiter's dream, fantasy. You know what I'm saying? Because you could get a kid before they even been touched
and make it
and build a relationship, and by the time they get to you.
Yeah, so that's the thing with the recruiting that's going on now. People are getting college offers younger and younger because it's just like relationships. You might not remember girl number 3, girl number 20. You remember 2 girls. Your first one and your wife.
Yeah.
So that's pretty much like what it is in college. So I know we run out of time. So I'll just touch again about our spring events. Right now we have the off-season strength and conditioning going on, led by myself. You can sign up for that, and we do it a couple times a week. April 16th, we got the big game at the St. James, the Gridiron Classic, the DMV Gridiron Classic, and this is the first annual. We're gonna do this every year. We're gonna try to make it bigger and better every single year. And then May 6th in Woodbridge and Dumfries at St. John Paul the Great, we're doing the DMV Elite Middle School Showcase, which is a real combine. Which, by the way, Zybex does the NFL combine, the laser timing. They've reached out to us. They want to do our combine.
Oh man. Give it up.
So our kids get Zybex tested, like qualified tests at a young age.
Yeah.
So all these different resources and benefits that we provide for our kids, it's all in hopes they go further, they go to the next level, things like that. So we're just here to help, and I appreciate you having me on, and coming on. I feel like a father vibe with you. You know what I mean? Like somebody that's mature, I look up to, that I respect, and you know, I appreciate every time you have
this
your
your home, bro.
Absolutely, and meeting Miss Lisa,
Yeah.
like the
We
vibe,
in there now.
yeah, like the vibe here tonight was cool. The conversation was easy. I love to come on anytime.
Yeah, anytime. What
Absolutely.
really, again, what we want to do is, this is your voice. This is the platform that you don't ever have to hesitate. You can call me on the phone if you really got somebody. If you got a young guy that you want to bring on, a young guy who we want to.
That'll be
Yeah.
that'll be a good idea.
Yeah.
Start showcasing some of our
Yeah.
kids.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like once a week, once every week,
Hey.
like showcasing the kids and talking about, like, because we might sit down with one of these guys that makes it to the NFL.
Yes.
Oh, we might.
No, we will.
Excuse
We
me.
will.
Hold on. But we might even prepare the next one of them to be the president of the United States,
Absolutely.
or the next congressman
Absolutely.
running
Exactly.
for office, or a mayor, or we're not just talking about NFL. We talking about being successful in
In
life.
society,
Absolutely.
yes.
So
Absolutely.
before we go anywhere, and I got to do this also, I just want to acknowledge some of the individuals out there that have their businesses that we like to promote. So y'all got to excuse me. I got to look back on the board so I can call them out. But I want to do the shout out to BCB, which is Beth Creations. She does the baskets. The Man in the Mirror show that's every last Thursday of the month. We have Third Sense Cuisine, Harold Massey, one of the head chefs. We got Nate Jenkins production. We have Stat DC, Tanya, who's out there feeding the people on a regular basis. We also have Pretty in Peace, Not in Pieces podcast that's out here promoting mothers who have lost a child. We have we have the Good Fight. That's another one of the programs that's out here dealing with all type of domestic violence and all kind of recovery, moving in a direction of speaking truth. Let me see. We got Black in the City. Mark Direct. Much respect to my brother. We got the X39 patch, which is one of my very dear, beautiful queens, Miss Kimberly Harkey, who's a representative in this area. We got the Prophet Katrina McMurray Brown, who hers is and that some of these things are real small. This young lady is always speaking positive about the growth and relationship and your spiritual growth. We got the Black Author Exposed. We got Good Men, which is a clothing line that's also Brother Tay, if you're hearing this, kudos to you. And I'm just going through talking I Help. I don't have them up there yet. We have You Create studio. That's a new studio in Temple Hills. And if I missed anybody, we got the Queen Rachel Pope, who was one of the individuals called in. We call her the godmother, who's always, she's spiritually looking over us, and when I say that, she's always just supporting us 100%. The intelligence office out here in Tyson's Corner. All of these people here are supporters of the podcast. And I just wanted, if I left your name out, it wasn't intentional. I just want to tell you thank you. Pinky Slade, that's another one of my brothers, his logo up there. He's always doing something in the community. Ratcliff, that logo was getting ready to get added to that too. So the next time you see it's going to be on there. And I'm going to consistently talk about what you're doing. I need you and I and many others to come together and keep building. We changing and I ain't gonna take this credit because Eric Will Hart is going to be in the studio, I think next Monday. Y'all talk about a powerful, powerful conversation. Y'all better get with us. Let me tell you what he shared with me the other day before we go off the air. We was talking about the crab in the pot syndrome, right? You know what he told me? He said it all depends on how you look at things, on how people perceive it. We always talking about the crab in the pot. That's the representation of the DMV holding each other down. He said, but how about we look at it from a different perspective? He said, take your hand and stick it in the pot when you put all those crabs in there and see if one of them don't bite you. And if it does, you got to think about, you got all them crabs in there you got to deal with. That's something that we can look at instead of holding down, that we unify together and we become very powerful. And that's what this is getting ready to happen with us. So I said that to say, for everybody that's been supporting the People to People podcast, thank you. Thank you, thank you. I'm going to be getting all this information. I'm going from now on, when I'm trying to get forward, and Lisa, I hope that you're going to help me do this, that we're going to have the information what you're doing, right, Ratcliff. So when you're doing these things, you know, it's not all the time that you got to call me, but when I look on my page and see it, I will talk about it. Okay. I just want to say thank you, my brother. You are welcome here anytime. Just a phone call away. And I want to hold you to it. Give me a couple of them young kids, yes, so we can get them in here and sit them down.
Yes.
Okay. So for everybody that tuned in, I love you. We send peace and blessing to you. And you know what my slogan is? I got several of them, but I'm gonna tell you a couple of them. One of them is not about me. It's not about you. It's all about us. And then the other one is this: people to people, power to power, positive thinking people. So I thank y'all so much, and I'm going to see if I can get my music to get us out of here. And this is part of the part that I like sometimes, because people see me have to do some of this stuff, and that's okay with me, because what I do, I make it happen whichever way I got to do it. And I just say thank you to God, and you know, and just give everybody peace and blessings.
Amen.
You know, so thank you so much, there, Ratcliff.
Thank
I appreciate
you.
All right,
thank you.
Thanks for watching.
It's the people podcast of the DMV. It's not about you, it's not about me, it's about we, and God we trust.
Yes.
Sir Rod and Lady Z, PTP. We see you back there in the back, Lady Z. Thank you, baby. Excellent program, man. Excellent. Appreciate everything. Real good.
Positive thinking people. Every Monday night.
We all glad.
Every Wednesday night. Every Friday night. Every Monday night. Every Wednesday night. Every Friday night. Every Monday night. Every Wednesday night.
But if you want to, you can grab them, because I got so many.
Oh, so I can just grab them off. Okay.
Yeah. So all of them.
No, I just never know.